Hello, Laura Schwam here, and I am going to do a reading for my Capricorn people tonight. I always like to start off using my Psychic Soul Healing Oracle deck because that way I can see the karmic themes, the shadow energies that are blocking your situation, what's going on within your life, and that's actually going to help us determine what you should do a lot of times in your situation. I don't really like to do predictionary readings because a lot of times people wouldn't like their predictions. Um, we can say what is going to manifest, what looks like the probable cause, but we would also want to see how we can manipulate or shape shift our experience. And we can actually do that if we know what a karmic theme is or a karmic block is, right? A lot of times they say, oh, a karmic contract is broken. Well, why is a karmic contract broken? Well, it means that someone learned a karmic lesson so they don't have to go through a certain experience. Again, we associate karma with pain and hurt, but karma just means learn. It means grow the soul, and we can grow the soul through seeing a different perception, a different manifestation that came from a similar situation, again, that had the same karmic theme. So a karmic theme could be one where you keep experiencing shame. You keep experiencing victimization within your relationships, right? That's a karmic theme. Or a karmic theme could be abandonment. And it actually does play out where I knew this one girl that every time I knew she dated like three people and all three people died and they died tragically. One died in a car accident, another one died in a motorcycle accident. My point is, she had a trauma of abandonment. Now, did she manifest those things happening in her life? Not not purposely, but subconsciously when we hold wounds, right? Wounds within our subconscious mind, they block us. And so, in a way, she did because like goes to like. You're an energy of who and what comes into your life. So, what created the abandonment for her? And I knew this girl personally, so this isn't psychic. This is what happened is her father was an alcoholic and the mother had to work all the time and there was no real support and there was no she didn't feel safe and she gravitated towards people that lived recklessly, someone that did drugs, someone that rode their motorcycle without their helmet on and just was reckless, and then she died early. It's again because traumas are replayed within our life. And so again, we recreate the same experiences. So this is why I like to look at the karmic themes and the karmic um, blocks that make up the shadow parts of ourselves. Again, we can integrate them, we can manifest different experiences. Now, for anyone that's new to the channel, by the way, anything that you need to know about me, you can find in the description box. Again, like how to book a personal reading or about any other things that I do, or free healing resources. Again, you want to check out the description box. Now, if you liked this video and you resonated with it, please give me a like or comment. I'm trying to grow the channel. Because that will help me to get the word out about healing the effects of psychological trauma. You understand there's a spiritual war happening right now. The spiritual war is one of the mind. So it's again, it's one that we're not seeing. We don't see the war because again, it's happening in the mind. And so, gaslighting and living in imbalanced environments create traumas because our behaviors and our actions then are not in alignment with our best and greatest good, right? If you only know part of an information, you're not going to make the best choices for yourself. So this is why we again look at those things. So as I was saying, that this message is going to be for my Capricorn people. But if you happen to be someone that just happened to be scrolling by and landed on this video and listen to it, then know that this message may be for you as well, because I believe again that psychic energy works like a magnet, right? As again, we are again psychic beings, we're energy beings, and we attract like-minded people. And you may say, well, I'm not an asshole, but I attract assholes. It's again, you may not be an asshole, but you may have treated yourself unconsciously like one, or have been affected by another asshole that is again, that is now making you attract that energy. So it's again, understand it's about integrating the spiritual lesson. So Promethean fire. Promethean fire is passion. And it doesn't necessarily mean passion between you and a soulmate. It could be passion like what you have when you're manifesting something that you love. So it's again part of the creation process, is that fire inside of us that makes us be able to persevere through again very difficult situations. Promethean fire actually enables us to transmute negative energy, because Promethean fire again is passion, it's love. And so love is the only energy that is considered a like a magic pill per se, like a universal panacea, which is that magic antidote that cures everything. And we know that there is no such thing as like a magic pill, but love transcends that. So Promethean fire is the passion and that comes from love, doing something that you love, and or being with someone that you love. Oh my God. You see that? I just pulled this card, and that's again, so this is already telling us, which is, I just pulled that card. It's like, and so that spirit wanted that card to come out, which is universal panacea, which is again, that magic pill. So, but understand, when we have such deep-seated traumas, it's again, the only thing that can change our mind and our heart is going through experiences, similar experiences that let us see ourselves differently, let us transcend the time and space, and let us see a different situation, like as I was saying, and we're able to do that with the energy of the Promethean fire. Unlock DNA. So this is talking about like inheriting physical wounds, physical imbalances, which a lot of times we do, because again, our habits and our the way that we think is part of our habits, and a condition is something that is a habit that we do all the time. A lot of these things are inherited from our environment and also from our family and our ancestors. So when you're unlocking DNA, you're actually unlocking the DNA that gets activated through your behaviorisms, because we can't change our DNA, right? Our DNA is what we got from our mother and our fathers and our ancestors. We can't change that, but you can change what cells get activated and what cells don't. So if you are predisposed to certain cancers, like a colon cancer, let's just say your dad got colon cancer when he was in his 40s, you would obviously be at high risk for colon cancer, but you'd have to say, okay, how did your dad lived. Now, did your dad eat dirty water hot dogs all day and drink beer all day, and that was his diet, and live it was like with a narcissist, and lived again nervous all the time and was highly sensitive on top of it? I mean, obviously, though living and being and his habits is going to activate DNA that, that is not going to be the most positive. When really we can shut off our DNA, we can unlock our DNA, the codes of our DNA, by understanding what it is that triggers our DNA. And really, what that is our behaviorisms and our habits. You have to say, what are we doing to activate the DNA inside of ourselves? What character comes out from that? And we can see. Again, by the time that you're in your 30s or 40s, a lot of times you can see a physical imbalance. Again, something, whether that's anxiety, depression, whether it's digestion issues, whether it's kidney stones, whether it's whatever the spirit, whatever the physical imbalance is, you can see the physical manifestation. You can even see a bad relationship. It's again whether your relationship mirrors your parents' relationship. Again, if your parents were codependent, are you in a codependent relationship? Or did you give up your power to be with somebody that has all the power and you're not? It's again becoming observant of your what it is that you're doing is what unlocks the DNA. And really also what unlocks DNA and what heals DNA is this energy and becoming the universal panacea is that unconditional love. And what we're down here to learn is that we're love and that we're not separate from love, and to give and receive of love. And if we have imbalances in our DNA, it's wherever there isn't love, believe it or not. It's where there may be again this discord, and discord energy a lot of times has come down from consciousness, and that consciousness is again inherited, it's handed down. But understand, your mother or your father might have grew up during the Depression. Your grandparents might have fought in a war. So their consciousness should not be the same as yours. Though, if you have inherited their habits and their behaviorisms, then your consciousness is the same. You're going to create what they created, but they didn't have the same tools. They didn't have the same knowledge. There was not really spiritual knowledge, or if there was, it was limited, or it was shaded as something that it wasn't, such as witchcraft or devil or whatever. Again, this limited mindset, this very narrow-minded way of thinking, because that's how people thought back in the day. I mean, there was a lot of prejudice. There was a lot of putting people in boxes and categories and different, different classes and different. It's again, which if you were put in a certain class that was seen as less than, that could actually activate your DNA, because you're walking from a certain consciousness. Your habits and what you're doing is in alignment with that consciousness, not your true self. Because your true self is expansive. There is no limitation. So this is a spiritual message. So this could be that someone's manifesting. Someone's manifesting again, and they're healing themselves. It's again, so again, I don't know who this message is for, but this could be the center of what's going on in your life. And the reason why is it might not be any person in your life, Capricorn. Maybe there isn't. Maybe you're putting all your energy into creating yourself right now and trying to heal that DNA, because if you're creating yourself and there isn't anyone, maybe because before the relationships also weren't good, because that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon. Again, if you see it in one area, but we'll know more from actually looking at the storyline. Okay, first card out is Queen of Pentacles, but it was reversed, so stability. So this is again stating that someone is breaking family karma. And again, unlocking DNA is that. But stability was reversed, and they wouldn't know that because it's again that they inherited this same poor limited mindset, and that could be, you know, your stability came from getting a lot of education, your stability came from things outside of you, that you needed to acquire things that you couldn't afford or didn't have access to. So the stability comes from a mindset, it doesn't really come from what's available to you. It's so that's so if this means that someone is breaking that mindset. They're thinking outside the box. By Capricorn, this it could be your message or someone connected to you. I mean, I always say that usually in the beginning of a reading, but roles could always be reversed because sometimes you'd be like, well, I'm not, thinking anything. And maybe I am not dating someone, but maybe I'm thinking about someone all the time. And though I'm not dating this person, I'm thinking about them all the time. Now they're showing up in my reading because maybe this is what they're going through. Maybe they didn't feel stable. And maybe they see you as being stable. And maybe they see you as being someone that can heal them. It's again, King of Cups again. So I wasn't far off by that. It's again that there's a person in your life that is, I feel like, is watching you from afar, that does want to offer you, something. I don't want to say like a full blown commitment, but I almost feel like a friendship. So this could be someone from your past. Five of Swords just came out. So again, I was just saying could be someone from your past, but now I know for a fact it was someone from your past. Someone from your past that is struggling with having to come back and apologize. Someone that is all up in their head about this situation. So this person sees a lot. The energy now that I'm getting just from these three cards is again that there's a lot of passion between you and this person. There's a lot of unconditional love between you and this person. And so you and this person is a soulmate slash twin flame that um that has to heal the same karmic soul wounds. Okay. So you recognize a lot of yourself in this person. This person recognizes a lot of themselves in you. So this is a twin flame soulmate relationship, which means there's a lot of the same soul wounds, spiritual blocks, karmic lessons. Um, so there's this intense also connection. And so there's a Queen of Pentacles, which is reversed, which is, I believe that both parties came from a place that they were not supported. They did not feel supported. So they might not felt supported unless they became somebody that their families wanted them to become. And this is kind of the energy there. And this is coming from a limited mindset due to the time period that people grew up in. And so, which I had said earlier, and I felt that earlier. So, but because there is this unconditional love there and this sense of knowing that you're someone that's supposed to be important in my life, both parties, I feel like, have this soul recognition. That doesn't mean that there isn't an ego struggle, again, where the person's not arguing and trying to talk themselves out of it. Again, how do you think you transmute negative energy? You cannot transmute negative energy with more negative energy. This unconditional love, this is the only thing that can transmute these hard spiritual lessons of lack and limitation and shame and victimization and betrayal, which happen a lot of times when we're born into karmic families, and karmic families could be, you grew up in an alcoholic family, you grew up with sexual abuse, you grew up with betrayal, and it was so hard seeing, and you could have seen that betrayal might have not even played out within your life, it could have played out within your mother's, so you inherited that, which would be the unlocked DNA. So it's, again, we inherit our family's traumas. All we have to do is look and see how it affected someone that we loved, and it affected us, we took it on. So it's, again, that happened in your family, this happened in the person that you're connected to, Capricorn, in their family. So understand, the same spiritual lesson, there is an ego struggle. There is an ego struggle because, again, the spiritual lesson isn't learned. And the spiritual lesson is unconditional love. That you can't control that. You shouldn't fight that. It's, again, but the ego creates that. Look here, what's playing up. But what's going to happen? Your person, Capricorn, is going to come down. Again, they're thinking about it because they're not happy because they've never experienced such a connection. Okay? So on one hand, it's like, I know that you are someone important in my life. I know that I'm supposed to be in your life. I have this intense passion. I can't stay away from you. This unconditional love for you, even though you trigger the shit out of me. It's, again, you bother me. It's like I almost don't, like, I'm fighting with my ego all the time. It's like, again, because on one hand, I don't get along with you, and on the other hand, I just want to give you love. It's like, but again, everything about you threatens my stability. Everything threatens. It just reminds me a lot of maybe what I've grown up in. It's activating something. And how do you know? Maybe you feel anxiety. So again, the person is soul searching. It's, again, and in their soul searching, they come to the realization, I believe, that a lot is in their mind. That they're listening to wrong people. Again, especially if you're sensitive and you're confused and you're in your mind, you're definitely going to be feeling so much you don't even know what's yours and what's someone else's. And I kind of feel like there's a little bit of that going on. Okay, so Page of Cups. So it's, again, this is more spiritual, okay? But I do believe the Page of Cups is, again, coming to you with an offer. So this is how that negative energy does transmute. Okay, because the story starts off with, maybe you're just manifesting. Maybe you had to detach yourself, Capricorn, from your person because the person was toxic. They were always, again, fighting with their ego, because I don't really believe that they had ever experienced such a passion, such a connection. And that's really, it's, again, you don't have to sleep with the person. You don't even have to date a person. It's like a knowing. It's an instantaneous knowing. If there's a comfortability, and then it's not even that that person does the right thing. A lot of times they do the wrong thing, but there's still this unconditional love, which is like, you can't stay mad at this person. So we know then that that's a soul's relationship, and that's really what this is about, right? Like, this is, again, we see this altruism, which is the Page of Cups, which is about love, and it's also about spiritual growth. And we see this, which is justice, but understand, justice is only served up, right, when we, again, we think, that we internalize, we know what's right. There's this sense of knowing, and that's what we see here. And that's what unlocks DNA, which is the change behavior and really transmuting this ego. It's, again, because ego is just fear. So again, fear due to, like, not feeling stable, but the truth of the matter is, this is the karmic block. Both parties didn't feel stable, didn't feel supported. Supported comes from getting strong within yourself, and that means emotionally too. And being able to not control in a relationship, not to be in balance. It looks like one party here, Capricorn, and I don't feel like it was you. I feel like whoever it was, again, that you were attached to, um, was the one that was doing it. That someone was trying to put you in a situation that was trying to make you undervalue yourself, to, like, for them to feel better about themselves. And so you might have grew up in a codependent family. And so not allowing that is actually unblocking DNA, because you're like, hey, that doesn't like serve my stability. It makes me not feel supported. It makes me not feel stable. I don't want that. But again, so you did your soul searching. You did that. You were like, I'm doing my soul searching. I know what I want. So it's again, a lot of times in these relationships, um, where opposites, again, twin flame soulmates, they have the same wounds. They don't channel them out the same way, however, which means that one person tends to be very emotional, the other person tends to do things very logically, and getting on the same page is difficult. It's like banging heads, because the life lesson is all about finding balance, and we find balance through compromise, and unconditional love allows us to find compromise. And that's what we see here is, again, when we want to unlock that DNA and transmute that fear, that negative energy. Okay. And so Seven of Wands is coping. So, it's not really about coping. We don't want to really like cope and deal. This is almost like I'm dealing with life, because a highly sensitive person, or someone that like learns to live with just coping and dealing, the longer that you live in that energy, the more that you condition yourself, including your DNA, to live from that level of consciousness. So you may have to cope with a certain situation for a certain limit of time. But if you're looking to unlock DNA, you would have to, again, surrender your ego and create your stability, through opening up your heart. Again, that King of Cups is again about, you know, um, like he manifests, and he gives a lot. He's not afraid. What we see a lot of times with an ego struggle is that a person's heart is closed, and they will cope with life, again, to stay in this limited mind perception, so that there's no growth. But again, the growth is getting to this unconditional love. And so it's not to be in that. Otherwise, it feels like it's hard work. Life seems like it's a hard work if we live from this negative and limited perception. So I don't know who, again, is going to resonate with that, what Capricorn is going to resonate with that little healing message. But I just wanted to put out a different type of reading for you all tonight, because as a healer, as I said in the beginning of this, I believe we have the power to shape shift and change our destiny if we understand what is our spiritual lessons through our karmic themes and our karmic blocks, and which we can see a lot of times through our spiritual triggers. We can actually integrate spiritual lessons, which actually shape shifts our experiences to help us create new realities that are going to be a lot more fulfilling, and bring us better opportunities, and connect us with higher vibrational things that will help us transcend out of these very limited times. Because there's, as I was saying, that there's a spiritual war happening right now, and the spiritual war is one of the mind, and that's one that's built on fear, and again, this control and this limitation and this lack, which is actually against spiritual laws, which spiritual, not just spiritual laws, but it's the laws of love, the laws of God, the laws of nature. So it goes against all of that. And if we're going against through all the spiritual laws, the laws of God, the laws of love, and the laws of nature, we cannot manifest. We are not going to manifest anything positive, I'll tell you that. We'll manifest a lot of pain and suffering because, like I said, that's not who we are. So this is why integrating spiritual lessons are important. And this is really how you can get what you want. This is a twin flame soulmate relationship. So to understand when there's unconditional love, people will not agree. You have to make a person surrender their ego a lot of times, and unconditional love will do that. It doesn't mean that people's shadow self won't get in the way, but it does get in the way. But the whole point with someone that surrenders their ego is that they have to do the hard work. And the hard work is really, again, doing that self examining, and really which is the soul searching, right? It's to like look deep within inside themselves to see, where am I coping, and I'm not really that happy, I'm just kind of like existing. It's like, because really this is the level of energy we need to be at, and that we again get there through channeling it through our passions, right? So this helps us keep our heart open. This helps us give and receive of love. And that's really what helps us unlock DNA, right? And that transcends us right out of like the ego, that limited mindset. And so they're not really living from hard work, as I was saying. It's the hard work is looking deep inside of yourself and having to deal with the layers, and the layers of that are our wounded self, our shadow self, our child self, the parts of self that look at who we are from a very limited mindset. And so that really is how you unlock your DNA. So you'll have to let me know if you resonated, and how you like this type of reading. All right, guys. Bye.